Hey dudes and dudettes, gonna keep it brief here. Just a little intro into the video that's gonna follow. As I alluded to in the what I will from now on call the What Up Bitches video from last time, I had done a Facebook Live for a friend of mine where I just kind of ran through the layout of my pedal board. And so I found that, so I'm posting it, and I wanted to kind of clean up a couple loose ends on there. In that video, I got a little confused when I was tracing the chords back to my amp, and I did catch that and straighten it out for the most part in the video. Where I got confused was coming out of the noise gate, and there was a spot where I said the analog chorus pedal ran back into the effects loop, and then I realized that was not correct. It was actually the reverb pedal. So I did make that clarification in the video, but what I didn't do is kind of come back and clarify where that chorus pedal actually runs. And so I just wanted to get on here quick and mention that the chorus pedal actually goes into the input of the amplifier. So like if you didn't have pedals, it would be like the cord you plug into your guitar one end, into the amp the other end. So that into the amp, that's where the chorus pedal plugs into. And also, so that video that's going to be at the end of this one where I go through the board, that was recorded like I think 2 days before the eruption video that I posted like a week and a half ago. I also noticed that there's a couple times where I said like, oh, I must have accidentally stepped on this, and that was on my delay pedal and my reverb pedal. And so since I had stepped on them both like inadvertently, I decided that maybe they weren't really placed in the best spot on the board, because I don't really use those quite, like the reverb pretty much always is on, right? And then the delay is, you know, here and there. So, and with like one of my other amps, I can actually turn those on and off with just the effects loop on off button. I rearranged my board, just those like couple pedals. So like the signal chain is still the same, like which pedal comes after which, all that hasn't changed, but their physical location on the board I changed. I pulled the flanger and phase 90 to the front, and I put the reverb and the Echoplex delay behind those to help alleviate some of those accidental button presses. So after I cut this video, I'm going to just go over to the board with the camera and get you a picture of what it looks like now. And then after that, it'll be the Facebook Live video, which I'm just appending it to the end here, like no edits except for a couple transition things I did where, like if I would have left it, my face would have been talking to you like this, because I did it in portrait live mode or whatever. So I rotated that so I'm like up and down normal, and then I had to rotate one more time when I put the camera on the board, otherwise you'd be looking at the board all weird. So just to make it a little less weird, I kind of just threw some effect in those spots there. But other than that, the next like real video with new info, I'll probably make, what is today, Wednesday? Maybe I'll record it before the weekend and get it up by the weekend, but I might have to record it on the weekend and get it up shortly thereafter. So, but you know, soon we'll, like I've said before, I'll try to just keep being a little bit more consistent and get you something new pretty regularly. So with that, I will go get a better shot of the board the way it's laid out now. Okay, so here you see my how I changed the layout. It's still got the Peterson tuner, the Wah, the EQ, noise gate, but now the Echoplex and the reverb I put up kind of towards the back, and then I put the phase 90 and flanger down here, and then there's that chorus pedal, and whoops, there's my microphone cord. And like I said, this chorus, the out of the chorus goes to the input of the amp, and right now they're plugged into my EVH 5150, and that was in the shop when this Facebook live video was done. So anyway, there's that beauty right there. And the music at the beginning of this video, that's just out of this Fender, this is a Fender GTX 100 Mustang amp. And it's got built-in effects and all kinds of neat sounds, like 200 presets. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you happen to know what I was attempting to play in the beginning of this video, why don't you go ahead and throw that down in the comments. I'd say I got a prize for you, but I'm not sure that that's true, at least not yet. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Take it easy. Hey, this time I'm just going to talk about guitars instead of play them. I don't think Facebook can have any reason to shut me down for this, but oh good lord, is there a way to flip the camera? There it is. Well, I had one of my friends ask me what kind of pedals and stuff I'm using, so I'm like, yeah, for sure, I'll tell you, I'll share that. So I'm going to just kind of show my setup and stuff here. Obviously you saw the guitars. You never seen the amp on my camera, so we'll get over there first. First I'll show you what I don't have is my 5150 half stack. That sucks. I got it not that long ago, but I had to put it into a warranty claim. So when I get that back, I'll do more of these because I want to play through that. But I've been playing through this Marshall lately. It's a good amp. It's you know, I can't cry for having this be my backup. It's a Marshall MG250 DFX. 50 watts, two 12-inch speakers in it, and I'm pretty sure they're 12-inch. Clean channel, overdrive channel. It's got built-in effects, but I don't use them. I keep the foot switch turned off for the effects because I use my own pedals, and then I run some of them through this effects loop in the back. Just go around back here. So I got the, see if you can see that. This is the FX return, and this is the FX send. And so I just run the delay and the reverb through those. All the rest of it, and the reason being is, if you don't understand that, there's like two sections in the amplifier. There's the preamp, which kind of charges up the guitar like with natural distortion and stuff, so you don't need a distortion pedal. At least I don't use one. I just use the natural gain. And then so there's that, and then that effects loop that comes in after that, before it goes to the power amp, where it just makes everything louder. And so with the reverb and the delay, even if I had like a distortion pedal, I would want those after it. So since I'm using my preamp gain for distortion, I want those, I don't want distortion hitting those kinds of pedals, because then you just get like delay and distortion, or I'm sorry, delay and reverb that are distorted. And I mean, you may find a unique circumstance for that where it would be cool, but by and large, as a general rule, that sound kind of sucks. So anyway, I'll kind of go through the order of my board here. First off, I got a Peterson Strobostomp pedal. That's the best tuner I've ever owned. You can tune to like a cent, like what is that? Goodness, I can't even, I think it's a tenth of it. It's something like 1,000th of a note. That's how accurate it is. I mean, it's, and then you can put presets in it. So if you want to offset your tuning a little bit for special circumstances, not super easy to pull off with a Floyd Rose if you go too carried away, but it's a nice feature. Anyway, I always am able to stay super in tune with that thing. It's awesome, and this operates as kind of a kill switch too. So here, let me, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to plug this stuff in. Sorry about the lousy picture. Yeah, okay. My phone's mad at me. I can't turn my phone while recording, it says. Well, I just did. Okay, hang on a sec here. I should have planned this out better, but That's what happens when you click the live button. Ah, good grief. Trying to probably end up zapping myself here. That would be the pits. Ah, all right, 1 second. Here, we'll give you a view of the board from the front. All right, so back to this here. Okay, I think it knows that I don't have something plugged in, so it doesn't turn on. So let me just grab my wireless receiver. Let's see if that's the transmitter. Receiver. Okay. So this is another thing. I got these little wireless guys. I think I paid $100 for these at Guitar Center. It's so nice to not have to deal with the cord. Yep, and there we go. As soon as you got an input, it wakes up the pedal. So when the red light's on, no sound will come through. Now if I had my guitar plugged in, now it would be sound coming out of the amp. So anyway, I go tuner, original Cry-Baby Wah pedal, Jim Dunlop. From there, I run into a 6-band EQ, which I just always leave on. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I could technically tweak the EQ on the amp, but this seems to give it a nice boost too, that I kind of dig. And then, yeah, this is where it gets a little interesting, because I like the sound of this 6-band EQ, what it also does, unfortunately, is it seems to cause a bunch of noise I'm not super crazy about. So I had to get this noise gate, Sentry Noise Gate by TC Electronic. It's a cool pedal. Honestly, I have not even dug into everything it can do yet. But I mean, it's working well enough for me. But so the reason this is a little, like, I just leave all this plugged in. That's kind of the whole point with a pedal board anyway. But even those 2 cables I showed on the back of my amp, I got to admit, I don't want to unplug those, because I might get confused which one goes back where. Because some of this stuff seems a little bit counterintuitive, but I know it's hooked up and working right now. So anyway, you know what, we'll trace the cord back. So my EQ goes from the out of the EQ here, and then it comes over, and it's the input on the noise gate. And I am not going to probably be able to technically explain all the ins and outs of this, but I'm just going to show how I've got it hooked up. So let's see here. I just got myself confused. Okay, EQ out to input of noise gate, and then the noise gate out goes, oh good Lord, where does that go? Oh yeah, the noise, so this is why it's a little confusing. The output on the noise gate becomes the input of my delay, which is an Echoplex EP103. It simulates the old school Echoplex tape echo that of course you hear on a lot of, well, not just Led Zeppelin and Van Halen recordings, but being those are, 2 of my top favorites, that's certainly my point of reference. And then, since I just wanted to leave the amp effects off, I also went ahead and got this little MXR reverb. I think it's an M300. Pretty sure that's right, but it's cool because I can select 6 different kinds of reverb. Plate reverb, spring reverb. Oh, look. I think I even screwed this up. It's not set on what I normally would have wanted. Okay, now it's on plate, I think. Yeah, usually I like it on plate. I must have accidentally stepped on that knob. You push this one down and that switches which kind of reverb it is. And then your decay and mix. Let's see. And so anyway, kind of going back, because this is like a few multiple steps here. Okay, so we came out of the EQ into the noise gate. And the reason I did it after the EQ is because I know that's what's making all the really annoying hissing noise. So like these other pedals, I mean, 2 of them run through the effects loop, so they don't really make any noise. And then these 2 guys, they're not a real big offender either, because I've run them without a noise gate and without the EQ, and it's fine. So I'm mostly worried about killing the extra noise from that EQ. So let's see, now this send and return business. So we'll go back to the right side of this noise gate, which is where they have the return cable. It's called return. So let's trace this back to my amp, and we'll see which side that one was. Hopefully it says return, and then I won't have to worry about getting confused, except that I'll probably forget. Yep, now my phone's mad at me again. I can't rotate my phone while recording, it says. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I was afraid of this, so this is why I probably will never remember if I don't just label these chords. It's the send chord from the amp that hits the return input on the Sentry. And then the return chord from the loop is what actually, where does that one go? That one is the output of my analog chorus, MXR M-117R, I believe. So that's why it's a little bit, I mean, I had to look on YouTube to figure out how to hook this darn thing up the right way. It was like kind of counterintuitive, because where this thing says send, you would think you would put that to the send on the back of the amp, and you would think this return would go to the return, but it doesn't work that way. This return goes to the send. This send goes into the first pedal that's not in the effects loop. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not even sure I know what I'm saying at this point. Holy cow. Am I talking about the wrong cable here? Sorry, Darren. I know this video is for you, dude. Hopefully you were just curious about what pedals I got more than how I connected them. Yeah, if I ever took this apart, I'd have a headache on my hands. So, anyway, like I said, the Echoplex and the Reverb, they are in their own thing there because they go through that effects loop. Yeah, I think I did screw that up, because this output of the Reverb, that must be what's going into the send. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense. Anything I just said would not make sense. So okay. I also have an MXR Flanger M-117R, I think is what it's called, and an MXR 90, Phase 90, MXR. I forget what number that one is. So that's it. That's all I got. Just a Phase 90, Flanger, Analog Chorus, Echoplex, tape echo simulator basically, the Reverb, that EQ, noise gate, and a wah pedal. And then I power mine, dude, sore knees. I power it with this guy here. I found this online. First I bought a different thing and I already ran out of inputs like immediately. This is it's called a Strymon. Nice little isolated power supply. Here we go, maybe we can see the label here. Yeah, Strymon, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's got like 9 inputs. They're all a minimum of 500 milliamps, which is a big deal. I found out the hard way that Echoplex pedal needs a little extra juice. When I had it on my old board, it would do this weird thing where I wouldn't be playing and I would just all of a sudden hear this clicking noise, and it was the pedal. It was like triggering. Looks like I stepped on the wrong button on this one once too. So when you turn this on, that white light comes on. And I was sitting on my couch one day with the old setup and I heard this clicking constant. I'm like, what the heck is making that noise? And then I saw that light flashing, and it was only plugged into a 250 milliamp power supply. So I Googled it and I came to the realization it needed a 500 milliamp. So eventually what happened is, I think it was, I got the tuner, and then I kind of knew I wanted a wah pedal, and my old power supply, I already had like used up almost every input. So I was like, I need something different. Good old Amazon though, I was able to return that one, and then I just went and bought that Strymon that's got the 9, and then I'm probably already pretty close to 9. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, that's 9. But that one you can daisy chain with some of their other products. So I don't know, I might get 1 or 2 more pedals, and I guess if I do that, I have to get one of those daisy chain things. But anyway, that's the setup. Oh, and then here's my main Marshall. The AB channel thing here just gives me clean, versus usually I just leave it on the loud side. But if I want a cleaner thing like the intro for Stairway to Heaven or something, I just step on that and it cleans it all up. And then this is for that effects thing that's built into the amp that I never use because it's just kind of more headaches than it's worth. But so yeah, that's what I've been playing through mostly the last, I guess, couple months here. Hope you all found that interesting.